Hey guys, welcome back to another Aleroart video. I'm Aleroart, and you guys that are in my workshop art classes know me as Mr. Alejandro. Today I want to do a different video, which again pertains to creating art and making art, and that's having a sketchbook. Having a sketchbook. In this video, I want to talk about the importance of having one and why it's good to use it for practice, to build memory, to journal. If it's a diary, that's cool. Um, Having these type of things will just only help your muscle in your brain when you're creating content, and rather it be for like sketching, drawing with a pencil, using markers or watercolors, or even going straight to digital. Having these sketchbooks is very important in this as a tool um, in your work. I'm a firm believer in working out sketch ideas before tackling a project, rather it be a character or a comic book page or even a logo. As a graphic artist, you definitely want to work out your ideas. You could have a small sketchbook that could fit inside of your bag, or even like just to have one on the side, just to have it in a cafe. But more importantly is just to have something to be making while you're working on other projects. And it kind of sounds silly, but um, I had some other reasons why having a sketchbook um, with you to build your characters and drawings. I come up with like these list of things of why I want to talk about it. And creating these videos, I'm still fairly new and how to approach it, but I think the important thing of creating these videos, I would like to think that it's something that, if you guys know me, I'm just basically speaking my personal experience, and I think a personal experience weighs out more to wanting to show that maybe this is something that speaks volume in when I want to create. So there's probably stuff that hasn't been brought up where it's in a classroom, or you meet your favorite artist and you don't understand how do they do that sketch without second guessing themselves. And I really want to say that if they don't say it out loud, it's basically a practice. You're spending hours, days, months, years just filling up sketchbooks. And in these sketchbooks, you're definitely you're like a weight trainer. You are building up the muscle in your brain that's definitely going to help when you are on the spot to create, especially if you are a cartoonist, or making art on the spot at at a fair or library shows, or even at a comic convention. There's these things that in exchange for money you do commissions. And if you do a commission, you are basically being asked to like draw their favorite character, which is fan art. And if you're fortunate to draw one of your own characters for um, a customer, a supporter of your work, that's even cooler. Like to be able to draw, I have an alley cat, and people just love his little expressions and stuff like that. So I share with people and tell them like, hey, these are things that you just gotta keep doing. And when I go to these events, I'm always asked like, you draw fast. and I just let people know that, hey, these are practice. You make a lot of mistakes, and you make a lot of mistakes in your own sketchbooks, because that's where you're getting out your kinks, your ideas. They might not be all right. They just might be something that uh, just helps you keep going. So yeah, I just feel like having this video on discussing why having a sketchbook is important. If it's even like something in a notebook, if you have like a leftover notebook and you have words written on there, that's cool. Maybe you probably have a little sketch. I was going through a lot of my sketchbooks today, and I was noticing that I do have some notebooks that where I write down my to-do list and my goals. um, I do find that I write and do little sketch scribbles in there too, just to help illustrate my point that I'm just trying to do. So I think for another video, we'll talk about having like a goal list and how to approach your work. But right now, I just want to talk about creating artwork in a sketchbook and trying to fill in as much as you can. And I'm not perfect, and I know a lot of these guys that do have sketchbooks. More power to you if you could fill up pages. Not all the time I do, but I try my best just to put my notes in there. And I think the important thing of the having the sketchbook in this video is to not be have so much of an attachment of fear of not showing people. And I've heard this from other people that talk about having a sketchbook. You don't want to make your sketchbook so detailed that you're not going to share it with the rest of the world. Like having a sketchbook is meant for mistakes and to have like little like errors. If you write something down and it's not spelled properly, that's not that's not meant for anybody but yourself. It's a journal. It's a diary. It's personal. Um, if you care to share your sketchbooks with people, that's cool too. But always remember that that's not meant for people to judge, to tell you like, oh well, you drew this thing wrong, and you basically got to tell them like, hey, it's a sketchbook. Um, I'm very fortunate to be teaching an all age comic class, and at my three different locations, I have this age range where they are fierce, and they don't have that worrisome of like being judged. And I think that's a thing before going into high school, that they see that they could just create and it's okay. And something happens when it's like after summertime and goes into like high school. It's worrisome, and I've been there where I haven't been confident with my work. But if I was at least given that information of saying like it's okay to um, make a mistake, and your best work is always gonna be the next thing you work on. So as I always encourage that, work on stuff and then put it out there and then work on the next thing, because you shouldn't have to be stuck on a drawing that basically freezes up. And I've been a victim of that. I've had a drawing that I've been stuck on for months, and I just couldn't go farther with that. And I've noticed that when I did that, I didn't have these notes or sketchbook to see how else can I execute this picture. And I think as our favorite professionals, they rough out ideas and they rough out sketches. And if you're telling somebody that you don't use a sketchbook and you just fall out of the this world of just being the greatest, I just more power to you. You are that 1% that's consistent of like just not doing any bad. And I'm not afraid to tell people, hey, I use a sketchbook in my work, and it just, it only helps and it makes you grow. And I think this is a cool thing to have. I remember getting my first sketchbook, and it was basically a used sketchbook, and there were some art from another artist in there, and it was just something that just to fill up the page. So like when I was in high school, I started getting sketchbooks, and what I was doing is I was drawing my style of how I would draw a character. And I didn't, I think I fell into thinking that I had to be perfect, but then you got to remember, um, having a sketchbook are just more for, for your notes. And when I had that, I would draw from life. I had awesome teachers that would tell me like to draw things outside. A lot of them didn't get the comic book scene. They weren't cartoonists. They were more like their backgrounds were fine artists. And I guess they just would always recommend, and I would recommend this too in this skill. If you are being a cartoonist or creating characters, is you still should learn from life. You should be able to draw, things that, are around you. And I think that's one of the things of having a sketchbook. Um, it's like a journal, and this journal is basically helping you store information that you need to use. So if you're asked to draw a model sheet of a character, filling in a page of a sketchbook, you're basically um, fixing in your brain how to have that look transferred from your brain onto a sketchbook, and then later on to say a client work, or some kind of project that may involve being paid, or other times it's more as a personal project. But overall, it's just very cool. Yeah, I feel like I'm everywhere with just explaining having these sketchbooks. But yeah, I always talk to artist friends and friends that don't really draw, and I think for yourself, it doesn't matter how many sketchbooks you have, as long as you're doing, you're using them. And for myself, I'm just like, let me start bringing some out. Got an alley cat right here. Uh, these are things that you might use them as a model sheet. You might have like an idea for a cover, and you could see the blue pencil use and the PENTAL brush use in the picture. There's some skeleton bones for the Vikings. Character sheet for comic. This is Bonester from Power Punch Bootcamp. These are more of the group, and you could see that I'm just getting comfortable when I draw. And a close up of a Viking face and a whale jumping out of the water. So yeah, I'm gonna go through another one. It doesn't matter how many pages are in a book. If it's a small book or a big book, just try to fill it up. Try to mix media. Use pencil. Use marker. Try to just have fun with that. And I think this is what I basically just try to do. I'm still, as a growing artist, I want to be able to develop a style, and in order to do that, you definitely have to practice. So I just don't focus on erasing. Just jump in there. Learn how to, you're drawing out faces, you're drawing out hands, you're drawing out eyes. You might do fan art, somebody getting punched. One of my things that I encourage cartoonists to do is to redraw your favorite page from an existing comic book, but in your style, and maybe switch around the pose. Maybe an arm was facing that way, but you flip it around. Maybe a person was standing on that side. Maybe you want to flip it around. This is an exercise that I do a lot in my sketchbook. And I also try to incorporate words. I'm not a wordsmith. I don't use technical skills in creating fonts, but as an artist, I do take great pride in learning that the artist has this mad skill, and I think it's great. I mean, I'm only familiar with chicken scratch and chicken scratch bold in my writing, but yeah, I encourage that in your sketchbook. These are ideas that you should have in your sketchbook. Of one, try to fill up the page as much as you can. If you can't, it's all right, but just try to be comfortable. Maybe you want to mix in some grayscale to it, and that's that. Sketches from my previous Kickstarter that we successfully got done, and this was a dance off. So I was trying to think of hilarious dance moves in there. Random characters, Godzilla. Again, draw your favorite existing cover. This is one of like covers that had Superman appear with a Shazam. And I just redrew it, and it's the original guy is named CC Beck, and I just wanted to do it in my style. Yeah, again, these are just things that I would encourage to have people do and draw and stuff like that, and learning word balloons and how to have fun with it. It's not, these things aren't meant to have people be worried that you are creating content that's basically to get people to be what's the word I'm looking for, to be personable. This is your way of showing that you can be learning things. And again, these are mine. These sketchbooks belong to me, and it's to be okay to be making mistakes and writing out notes and trying to figure out how you're going to illustrate and create. And I just want to share these with you guys. Having these drawings in here is just to be, you just want people to see that you're a human being, that you can create content and not worry. Did these for sketches that were later on used for a reward, and I had no clue of like what kind of pose would I give a character jumping in the air or flying in the air, a girl posing, Tila. These are just random line characters that I try to incorporate in my work, and it's not meant for anybody else but for myself to show how to do that. I use the brush pen in my work. I don't normally use pencil, but it's a practice. It's okay if you don't, but if you do, do it. Just keep trying. Just try to fill up a page. Write out ideas. What are they thinking? What is the action sequence? If there are more than one people, are they dancing, and are they doing a b-boy pose? Maybe a chubby Spider-Man. Have fun with that. Incorporate some words as for logo. You never know. You just never know that having these sketchbooks will help a lot in your work. And further, like, you want to be able to give your self credit to say, hey, at least I tried. And with these sketchbooks, these are meant to be an exercise. Had fun with this. Draw the page. Mix it up. Use a different tool. Try to be just have fun with it. Try to give yourself the credit that you at least try. A lot of us creating content, we don't really share these kind of exercises, I guess, because you just want to see the final product and then move on. And with other people. We're just growing. We want to learn how to do what they do, and I think people kind of tend to feel like you need to be perfect, and the reality is that, you know, nobody's perfect at that. I draw hands. It's an exercise. A comic artist told me I should learn how to do more of that, even though it's practice. So I'm cool with that. I want to, you know, learn how to learn gestures better. If you're eating cereal to spaghetti, holding a pencil, draw a face. These are my exercises. What are your exercises? Are you filling up notebooks? Do you write the alphabet in yours? I do. I try to write in different styles just to be. Sometimes I have older sketchbooks and I'll draw Alley Cat's face on it. Alley Cat's just hilarious. These are just fun. I keep thinking about when I talk to people about you know, at shows, that you carry a sketchbook around, and the first thing they tell me is like, well, it's not perfect. I'm like, well, what's the definition of it? Who has a sketchbook that's perfect? And can't really tell, you know, a person like what they shouldn't have in their books, and I feel like that's more personable. So when I show people my sketchbooks, I like to show the breakdowns, the nitty gritty, the things that, you know, aren't perfect. You know, SpongeBob's nose should be longer there, which is funny. And hey, what's up, Gary? Alley Cat, Hulk, E-Man, Chicago Bulls. Ooh, pizza. Drawing turtles. You know, mixing it up with watercolor, with ink. Drawing them in different styles. I like them round. I like them funny like that. I think it's silly. Draw vehicles. I draw, you know, surroundings that are around me. I draw myself. It's just a little comic strip I was doing. You know, this is what's in my sketchbook. This is close-ups, you know, MJ. It's I drew this a while, but there's a documentary going on with him right now. This is cool. Faces, just try things and use, you know, fill up your sketchbook. These aren't, you know, not to be made for as you're going to use this as your final. No, you're using this as you're using this to lay out an idea in your brain. Not everybody can go ahead and, you know, throw stuff out there super fast. And if you can, I said that before, it's like more power to you. You just want to show people that you can, you know, fill up a sketchbook and necessarily share it with people, but more so have it for yourself. And that's my goal of trying to tell people, I still have pages in here. It's always a treat when I could find a sketchbook that I need to go back and fill up again. Incorporating logos, like making logos for people. You want to be able to sketch out your ideas like that. Like jumping straight into the computer. If you can do that, that's cool. But to me, I have that fashion of needing to go back and create with paper and pencil or marker. You just want to be able to show, you know, that you it's just like that connection, paper to from your brain, to be able to go ahead and put it out there, and then jump into, if it needing to be digital, you're just going to go ahead and add that to it and stuff like that. So this is one of my last ones. Drawing hands, as you can see. Drawing faces, Harlequin. I'm gonna have this upside down. I'm okay with it being upside down. Are you guys okay with it being upside down? Drawing panels, drawing poses, characters, hands. Look at those hands. Draw more hands. Ooh. You know, when I work on out ideas, these are always cool. I get people asking like, "Hey, do you sell your sketches?" And you know, that's the other cool thing is people ask for them, and I'm happy to sell them sketches if it's from the sketchbook. I always ask first if you even just redraw the picture, and they'll say no. Actually, I want you. They just want the original sketches. Drew like Odie and Garfield in my style. Alley Cat with Garfield. My face, you can see, kind of see. No fire guy. It's used for an avatar. Broom broom. CJ. Bounster. These are just sketches. Just having fun with that. You should always not take stuff so serious with having a sketchbook. If you go to events, definitely carry a sketchbook around. Maybe you get your favorite artist or an artist to draw out a sketch for you. I encourage it. If you don't have a sketchbook, grab a few sheets of paper and staple it in half, and just sketch out your ideas. Having this sketchbook and trying to fill it up, it's just you need to. Your brain has that muscle that needs to always want to grow. I'm still learning how to draw hands. I'm still learning how to draw the human form. And as a working artist, that person's always you're always like on that bicycle of trying to keep fluid. Your favorite creator, style will change over time. You look at a Picasso, and if you look at his later years, and though it looks very, few dots and a line here, he knows how to draw realistically, and it just incorporates that in his work. You could see progress over the years. So seeing an artist like him, cartoonist, favorite cartoonist of mine is Alex Toth. His line work as he got older was just really great forms, and using the what works and eliminating what doesn't. You definitely learn that while sketching. Trying to think of what are other things that would be required, but I just want to let people know that you should have a sketchbook, and having a sketchbook is very cool to have around. And it's not something that you need to have every time, but it's just something to express. It could be something as personable, or just have it to share, but it's comes down to it is yours. So I'm gonna end this video and just say, hey, thank you as always. Pick up a sketchbook, have a sketchbook, get a pencil, use brush pens, fill up the page. You might use the picture as you might make a lot of mistakes, and what's great about that is this is your sketchbook. Try to cover as much as you can in a single page, and not worry about it being perfect. You might draw Spider-Man and his color might be purple. Drawing unicorns, a unicorn might be orange, and another one might be blue. Just describe My Little Pony style, but yeah. Be creative, learn from life, draw what's outside of your house, draw what's inside of your house, draw your pet, draw your family, draw face, draw eyes, draw hand gestures, draw expression, draw a vehicle, draw a car, bus, draw an airplane, draw nature. Just have fun with that. So I'm gonna end this right now, and I just want to say, guys, thank you as always. Thanks for supporting my page. Thanks for being on my Patreon. I'm always happy to answer any questions, and continue on to keep making artwork. Guys, take care. Peace out. Bye.